Good evening, Super League fans around the world, or at least Andreas and Ian so far, according to the chat. And 8 concurrent viewers. So there are people here. Alf as well. Thanks very much, everyone. I hope you can hear us. If there's any problems with the sound of the picture, as usual, just let us know in the comments. We do have them up so we can see what's going on. Two co-commentators tonight, luxury. So we've got Kieran. Good evening, Kieran.
Good evening, how are you?
Very good, thanks you and yourself. Apart from the leg and the black eye.
Pretty good. We're getting by with it, it's not too bad.
You're settling into your newfound condition. That's good.
Hopefully, short term as possible.
Excellent. And Ryan, good evening to you.
Good evening, Martin. Good evening, Kieran. Good evening, Super Leaguers.
So we're all looking forward to a quick midweek flash game that we've got arranged for everyone here. It was a bit short notice, but first of all, just appreciate that everyone were so great at getting back to me on time and with their squads and all the changes and it's everything. Yeah, without your swift replies to my emails, I can't really do this. So really much appreciated and wasn't sure we'd be able to turn it around, but I actually had everything in by close of business Tuesday, so everything was good to go for tonight. If we just start off tonight's action, we're going to try and I'm going to jinx it now. We're going to try and keep it relatively short. I know it overran a little bit for the schedule on Sunday, but we'll try and keep it relatively short and sweet tonight. So if we have a quick look at the table first, you're both near the top. Kieran, you've been pretty much there or thereabouts most of the season. What's the key to your success?
I think his name is Barry Ferguson, really. We had a great start to the season with him playing a pivotal role. He then got injured alongside with Edgar Davids, and our form kind of fell off a cliff a bit. But since both of them come back, our results have kind of upturned, and yeah, we're kind of up challenging for top two.
Yeah, and it's a very strong defensive performance. You've probably heard that I keep going on about your sort of your constellation there at the back with Thuram, Maldini, and Oliver Kahn. 13 goals conceded, despite playing a relatively attacking formation. You got to be happy with that as well.
Yeah, really happy with that. Obviously, we've kind of got a few results out of that, kind of getting 3 draws where probably we might not have deserved to get them, but the three at the back have really held firm. And Maldini's getting a rest tonight with Sylvester coming in.
hmm And you don't seem particularly worried about the loss of Estebaria. I suppose he was a good player for you, but there was some rumors about his negative impact on the dressing room.
Yeah, look, he played really well when he was here, but yeah, he is. I think he had eyes for other clubs, so we let him leave. We tried to replace him with someone else that could play on the right, so we brought in Ishola Shuaibu, and hopefully he can do a job. He showed last week he can do it from the kind of AMC role, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do on the right hand side here today.
It'll be interesting, definitely, to see him in action again. Ryan, you find yourself in the top three as well. But you did not have the same kind of start that Kieran did to the season. What do you attribute the kind of sort of long-term turnaround that you've achieved here to?
Well, I don't think I played too badly in the opening games. If I'm being honest, I think there was a lot of very close games which I just came out on second best in. But yeah, definitely moving Gary Neville to centre back rather than right wing back, as a lot of people alluded to. Um, getting settled on a team, really making sure that I have my best players in the best positions. But yeah,
hmm
flying high at the minute. I'm really happy with where we are. Another win tonight, and it will start creating a bit of distance between. Yeah, so I mean, I don't want 7 for catching up with me. That's anywhere in the top 6. I'm happy.
Yeah, it's all about getting into that to those playoff spots, I guess. I mean, I think the top teams obviously get a little bit of an advantage. They have a game less, don't they? But being in the top six has got to be what it's all about for you guys so far this season. If we're having a quick look at the results from last week, uh, Churchtown Massive won, Midlothian won. Kieran, how did you see that one? I guess after the first half, you were maybe feeling a bit nervous, or did you have full confidence that your team could bounce back?
I'd be lying if I said I had full confidence. They were all over us in the first half with us not really creating much. But yeah, after that, 1-1 draw against a team admittedly with not the greatest away form, but they're a top side, and on their day, they can really have a lot of goals in them with Kesman and Mpenza. So yeah, we'll take the draw and we'll move on.
Hmm. And no sending offs or anything like that, despite it being a Wayne date. So I guess that's always possible.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Positive.
We've actually been pretty lucky with the refs this year. I haven't really had a complaint this year. I don't think we've had any sendings off and not many penalties against us. So yeah, pretty happy with the refs this year out.
It's not everyone who can say that for sure.
I definitely can't.
One of the teams who've had a few red cards. Well, you escaped one at the weekend. One of the teams who've had a few red cards is Bolton. But you put in maybe the performance of the season for your team, beating the league leaders at home. What did you make of that match?
Yeah, the result really doesn't flatter us, really. 2-1, obviously delighted with the win, but the performance watching it was, really the thing I'm going to kind of shout about. We really dominated the game from start to finish, and I think, as Ian alluded to on Sunday, they don't look like there's going to be one winner. So, yeah, I'm just delighted. Montella's come in, had a great start. I don't know, not much else to say on it, really. I'm over the moon.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, especially getting that goal back quickly. I think everyone thought after Montella got the first goal, I think we were all thinking, oh, this could be a good one. And then Cafu got one back, and we were thinking, Valen's going to come back into it. But then Veron scored the second for you, and that kind of saw out the victory for you. So as you mentioned, something that you've definitely got to be satisfied with that result, and also your position in the league. Kieran, any of the other results that stood out for you? Of the rest of them, I mean, Palmer's loss at home, maybe, or Ardsley scoring 5 again. They're quite an unpredictable side.
Yeah, Ardsley scoring 5 is a big one, as well as Dragon scoring 3. But I think that's the problem with both teams for them this season. Just they can be so good on their day, but inconsistency really kind of hampers their progress in making to the top 6. But both of them still have a chance. I think Jamie probably needs a win today to really kind of stay hot on the heels. Palmer unlucky to be champed. I think B-Tech were also unlucky to be champed, if I remember correctly. And yeah, I think Swindon coming back against Chudley was very unexpected. But no, top marks to them for doing so.
Yeah, definitely one for the neutrals there. That was a second half performance to forget for the Chudley keeper, and Swindon picking up some points there. And you're facing them tonight. Ryan, what did you make of Swindon's comeback in the second half? Is it one swallow that doesn't make a summer, or what is it? Is it or are they improving?
They're improving going forward. I still think they're a bit of a liability defensively, so I'm not too concerned. I mean, the one thing that does concern me is actually when I played them at home, I wasn't playing very well myself, and kind of scraped the win there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in a similar way to how they've done against Chudley, who, as you kind of mentioned, kind of blow hot and cold.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely go into tonight. I'm relatively confident.
Relatively confident. Okay, well, I think we're with 10 minutes, that'll be the shortest introduction to the to the upcoming games we've had so far this season. So if we can keep up the pace, then we might finish at a half decent time tonight. So we'll kick things off here. First of all, we've got B-Tech at home against Dragon Destroyers, and I guess the big question for this one, Kieran, one for you, is this a must-win game for both sides? Season over if you don't take 3 points from this one, if either side doesn't take 3 points from this one?
I wouldn't go as far as to say season over, but I think if there's any realistic aspirations, obviously you could put a serious run together. But I think how even the teams are kind of scattered throughout the Super League, that kind of long runs like Ryan kind of had with 10 games unbeaten is pretty hard to come by. So I think both teams kind of need to pick up the pace on picking up points at this stage.
Mm-hmm. And with regards to the Dragon Destroyers, they've swapped Montella with you, Ryan, or swapped. I think they paid you slightly less for Shearer than you paid for Montella. Is that right?
Yeah. So kind of I kind of initially tried to flog Shearer as part of the deal for Montella, and Jamie wasn't too interested. I think one of his striker deals fell through, which which means he then came calling for Shearer after the deal. So yeah,
Right.
over the moon to get Montella. I think he was the key man for me. Didn't really have too much faith in Shearer. He's good season one, but I just don't think he's one of the main strikers in the Super League, which is what I do think of Montella. So I think I paid 26. He paid 15. Montella, I think, is a better player, and he's got 4 or 5 years on Shearer. So yeah, I'm definitely the happier. But I think Shearer is probably an upgrade on Viduka. So
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting. It's interesting you mentioned that. We'll maybe have a look at Dragons tactics first then, because Shearer's on the bench for Viduka tonight. So I guess Jamie wasn't entirely happy with his debut performance there. Um, what do you make of this side? I think we've gone over it a couple of times, but just your opinion, Ryan, on Brozic Viduka, that, or Brozic Shearer, whoever he chooses to start together. Is that good? Is that gonna be enough to put that run together that Kieran mentioned that some of these teams need to go on, or is it maybe too little, too late for Dragons?
yeah, I was under the impression I had a quick look at the table before when you sent through the pack, and I was kind of thinking to myself that there's still loads of time to go. There's 11 games to go. Anything can happen. But then I started working out how much the teams would actually need to get to that 41, 42 point mark.
Hmm.
And I really do think it's a stretch for both teams. I think whichever team loses tonight, I think you might as well write them off as far as playoffs are concerned, because they're going to have to consider something like 8 wins out of 10 games to get there, and I don't think anyone's going to do that. Let alone teams that up to now are in the bottom half of the table. So yeah, and yeah, to kind of allude to Dragon Destroyers, I don't think they've got the firepower, as it were. I think Brozic isn't there yet. Viduka, kind of alluded to, isn't good enough, or definitely isn't producing. And he seems to have trouble all season, kind of getting supply to his strikers. So I think we've said about 6 or 7 times in the comms that his strikers don't have many touches. So I
Yeah,
know we've
that's
mentioned
true.
about Montella and a lot kind of thing. Is if he's getting a goal, it's coming from Robbie Keane, and it's not just only that the strikers are missing chances; it's the fact that they're not touching the ball.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
I don't know what his team instructions are, his individual instructions, obviously, but I
Yeah.
don't know if it's maybe something in his passing that maybe needs to change to get his strikers on the ball more.
Yeah, because that is, I mean, I suppose that is key, that you get those kind of big names firing. But we'll see if that's changed recently, or if anything has changed in his setup, or if he's relying on Robbie Keane again. Kieran, if I can come to you for BTEC. So BTEC are unchanged, their side. What do you make of the, especially the transfers that Ian has made with bringing in Ferdinand and Buffon? I suppose they're always wise to bring in 20 million pound players that are half decent. What do you make of those two transfers? Is that something that can turn BTEC season around?
They were definitely looking for someone to kind of perform in the big occasions in goal. I think he had a couple of poor performances from his keepers earlier on that kind of let him down a bit. Ferdinand's typically always someone who comes in and really shores up the defense. So they have the talent going forward. The players are definitely there. So maybe he just wanted to shore up the defense. And I think those are two pretty good players. And looking at his team now, it does seem typically pretty well balanced. You've kind of got a good kind of spattering of DMCs in there. You've got Agahawa making forward runs. Kieran Dyer is typically good for assists and goals going forward. Nielsen's performed well all season. So it does seem it's a very balanced team, and that could definitely go out and get results.
There's rumours he was looking at bringing in a bit more experience and creativity, but we'll see what happens with that in the coming weeks.
I think he's
Yeah,
done some great work. If I'm sorry to butt in there, but I mean, to get Ferdinand and Buffon, that defence, I think now is rivaling yours, Kieran, as probably the top defence in the league. Especially when he's got two. I would class Dyer more as a DMC or a DMR rather than a centre midfielder. But if he chose to play two DMCs, I don't think he'd concede with that back line.
Hmm.
The issue I think he's got is that a lot of the other teams have got better strikers than Palermo, and it's where he struggled in my opinion, all season. I think.
And he's got Inzaghi on the bench as well, so you maybe may expect him to get maybe a few more games. He's one of the top players in the game, especially kind of looking at the AI teams. He typically bags the goals for them.
Yeah, I mean, you could even make the case for it. I've never been a fan of when you have that kind of diamond, then put a guy in the MC in the middle. I, I would even take him out and play like a standard 4-1-2-1-2, and then put the instead of Kalusny, put Inzaghi on and put him up next to Palermo, especially at home against Dragons. But you know, Ian's in charge, so that's who's making the decisions. Predictions: home win, away win, draw. Kieran, what do you think?
I think an away win, actually. This will be kind of Dragons. They can pull out a win when kind of nobody expects them to and when they need to. So I'm going to go for an away win here.
And Ryan?
Solid home win by at least 2 goals.
Right. So there's got to be. So one of you are going to be spectacularly wrong. So let's have a look at the first half. Let's kick this one off and see if BTEC can get a win here, or if Robbie Keane turns up for Dragons and makes everything hat-tricky and Robbie Keane again, as he has done on a couple of occasions this season.
He never passes the ball, so I'm not surprised.
Well, there's Ryan Giggs with the opener. That was perhaps surprising. I think he's had 6 or 7 assists so far this season, but no goals. So that's an early scare for BTEC there. See if they can survive that and get back into it. Attempted bicycle kick by Palermo. That's always good to see.
BTEC seem to have more of the possession in the first half.
Yeah, more of the possession and perhaps slightly more of the chances, but less of the goals, I would suggest. I think Ian actually predicted it in the comments.
Ian, I do apologise. What is going on?
Oh, and it's the battle of the left backs with Kivu and Giggs both getting goals here. And as Ian pointed out in the comments, Bloody Viduka bound to score tonight now. And yes, indeed, he did. First half, it looks as if Kieran, your predictions is holding a little bit more true than Ryan's. Dragons should be pretty satisfied with that.
Yeah, I mean, 2 goals away from home in the first half, pretty clinical from 3 shots on target. They were kind of under the cosh a bit, but as the kind of stats show, BTEC were a little wasteful with their chances. So we'll see how they get on in the second half, if they can convert a few more of them.
Yeah, Ryan, not what you want when you pay 20 million for a goalkeeper and 20 million for a central defender, that they then concede 3 good chances, of which your opponent scored 2. First half performance for BTEC, not really what they were hoping for, I guess. Stating the obvious, I know.
Yeah, Buffon's not covering himself in glory. I know we're not going to go into too much detail at half time, but yeah, that's where he's going to be concerned about that. I've just been praising his defence before the start of the game, and they've not had the best first half. But yeah, they might be behind. I've still got confidence in them. I'm sure they'll come back. Yeah.
Well, hopefully the fitness will show in the second half for BTEC, and they'll do a little bit better. They do have Robbie Keane to worry about though, and he's not a bad player, as he's proven earlier in the season. He can also disappear from games, but it seems that he's been doing some work, maybe with the assists in this game for a change, rather than going for goal himself. BTEC definitely still creating chances. Palermo there with another chance. He's had a few in this game, I think.
There's a lot more going on the second half as well. Seems to be progressing slower than the first.
Yeah, absolutely. I was about to say that. I got through a lot of chatting and we've still got 20 minutes to play. And there was Palermo with the goal. All square now.
Interesting to see. Can someone win it now?
Yeah, the last 10 minutes. I mean, it's got to be down to individual bit of brilliance or someone screwing up.
I think I'm a couple of seconds behind you, but it looks all one way to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think definitely BTEC had the better of the chances near the end, but in the end it finishes 2-2.
Yes, it was a good game actually. Probably Jamie, although he was 2-0 up, will probably still be the happier of the 2 managers. Got a good point away against a team. Was the second best on the night, but he'll be happy with his team's performance. Probably, happier. Either took that before the game, but yeah, maybe not as happy now looking back on how it's gone.
Yeah, it's never great letting a lead slip away, but an assist for Brosek, so he's kind of coming in. Robbie Keane was totally there was one of his I'm not going to turn up kind of games. So a five for him. So not the best performance perhaps from Dragons. If we're looking at BTEC, Buffon surprisingly, I suppose he did make a couple of saves in the second half, getting an 8. Johan Vogel, if we can pick on Johan Vogel for a bit, pardon the kind of pun. Why is he still playing? Do we know? Does anyone know? Look at his average. 11 games and a 650 average. Is it a lack of options, or what's the story behind Johan Vogel being picked? Kieran, do you have any idea?
I don't, considering he's got is a Kalojny and Dyer that can both do a job at DMC, and he's also got David Prutton and Simon Davies on the bench there that I can see that both could come into either that MC or DMC role, depending on which of the two of them you prefer. So yeah, no, 11 games is plenty of time to bring up that ratings, and 6.5 just really isn't good enough at this level.
No, you wouldn't think so. An assist for Agahawa, which is always positive, and a surprising man of the match for Buffon. And Palermo's getting another goal, so that's him up to 8 in 11. So although he could have perhaps done slightly better, I would say that's still a decent return. But
Well, I
better than
actually
Van
didn't.
Nistelrooy probably.
Definitely. One of the ones I would have said is flying under the radar. I didn't realize he was that high, but I think it's a result that doesn't really suit either team here. They need 3 points, and a point either side just isn't really that good at this stage.
No, you're absolutely right. That's not going to do them any favors in the race for the playoff spaces. But moving on from this one, we have got yourself, Kieran, up next. I think if we're going to follow the schedule, so we've got Hooligans, and then we have got. Oh, would you like to have Oliver Kahn as your captain?
Of course.
Good. I think it's because Maldini was out and I hadn't changed it. So Ryan, I'll let you have a quick word for everyone about the hooligan side, and we'll let Kieran talk about his own guys. Do you think hooligans will make the top 6?
Yes, in a word. He's just got. I know he's having a real bad time with injuries and suspensions, but the actual squad is just too strong to miss out. Looking at his starting at 11 there, I think he mentioned he was going to do a straight swap for Ronaldinho because he's suspended with Aymar, but he's obviously switched it around a little bit and put Aymar into centre midfield and Kennedy B, Bakiroglu up at the AMC. Yeah, he's got quality throughout that team. Samuel and Yakubu and Desai. I know Desai gets a bit of grief, but he's still one of the top defenders on the game at the start, maybe for 1 or 2 seasons. He's got talent to burn going forward. So yeah, I don't think he'll have any trouble. His only weak position, and I understand why he's sticking with him to improve his stats, is with Kyotis in that. Season 3 for me, he's won at best on game, but season 1 he's not there yet.
Mm-hmm. He did have a man of the match performance last week, but that was, the first sort of proper decent performance I think he'd had all season, a sort of standout performance he'd had all season really. So, and yeah, a bit of a tactical swap there, getting Aymar into the central midfielder role, perhaps a bit of a tactical play from Mr. Thiago there, trying to get him out of the man marking or whatever he thinks that Kieran might have lined up for him. So we'll see how that one works out. But for you, no doubt he'll make top 6.
Yes, I think he'd make top 2 if he changed his tactics, but I think even with those tactics, he'll make top 6.
Yeah, and he'll have Mendieta. I think he'll be looking forward to that. He'll have Mendieta back, which is what he's been. I mean, he's not been struggling without him, but I think that was a big blow to him that he was injured. Sol Campbell he could do without because he does have like decent options at the back, but Mendieta is one that he doesn't really have that kind of player in there to replace him. So we'll see how that works out for hooligans once they get him back. Kieran. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say I agree with you on Mendieta, one of the top 3 DMCs on the game, if not the best.
Kieran.
Yeah.
This is different. You've done something different. What have you done?
I'm just trying to see where we might be able to get at hooligans, as they are very strong through the middle. So we've kind of kept our spine in there with David, Sarachinsky and Ferguson, but we're going to try and exploit them down the wings. Coco's been a pretty strong performer for us, and he's probably been a little unlucky to miss out, as we've kind of shifted into a more central focus game, kind of super narrow game. So we're interested to see, can he come back in and kind of contribute to getting us a few goals. As I said earlier, Shuaibu played really well in the AMC role last week, but I kind of bought him because he had the AM or C, so the potential to have him on the right was there. So I'm hoping to see if what he can do there. Martin, can I quickly ask you? I didn't say it to you, but I kind of put it in the image. Can you add forward runs to Robin and forward arrows to Robin and Mackay, please?
Yeah,
Happy
well,
to show it. Happy to show anyone a screenshot of that it was
no, no,
there.
no. I'm checking myself, but I'm sure if it's something that I've missed in the instructions, then I'm more than happy to change it. So yeah,
Sorry,
absolutely.
the way I send over the
No, no, no.
files through the
You have
tablet,
done.
and it doesn't actually allow you to add forward runs to it. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you have done. They're on the image. I have.
so
I'll add them.
that's what we're trying to do. We're going to try and get by them on the flanks, get the crosses in, and
Hmm.
hopefully some late arrivals from Robin and Mackay, as well as Van Nistelrooy, hoping adding to his goal tally. Obviously with Barry Ferguson running things from the centre of the pitch.
I was going to say, and ultimately relying on Barry Ferguson to do pretty much all of the work and getting you the 1-0 win away from home. But is that how it's going to go?
Essentially.
Exactly. Well, that's your prediction and mine. So Ryan, what do you think? Well, how do you see this one going?
Oh, it's a tough one. I think probably maybe another score draw. Yeah, I like both teams. I think the tactic that Kieran June, the one I used against Parma early on in the season at home, and I really scraped that victory. I think Parma were probably the better team in that game. So it's one of my home save tactics, the one that Kieran's using tonight.
Hmm.
But I've kind of shelved it as it didn't work, even
Right.
though I did get the win in that game. So yeah, be interesting to see. I think it's probably a better tactic than Hools has got anyway. So
We'll have a look. We'll have a look. We'll kick this off now, so everybody ready, and we'll see how Georgetown fare away in Brazil. Could potentially dump Hooligans out of the top six with a win here, and it's an early goal for Mackay for Georgetown. Yellow card for Barry Ferguson though. That could come back to haunt later in the game.
Mackay's been huge for us this season so far.
It was very influential at the
Well
beginning, wasn't
exceeded
he?
expectations.
I've been
Oh, and
impressed
there's
now.
Aymar with the equaliser just before halftime.
Yeah, I'm a big player. I think once again it's one of those. He's a season 2, season 3 player, but he's still fantastic even at the start. He's someone I always try and get early on in the game because his value just rockets up after a couple of seasons. Yeah, not surprising really. I think Kieran probably you'll probably be quite happy with the how that first half has gone. Apart from that goal just before half time.
Yeah, it seemed to be going quite well our way, and yeah, I was happy with the early goal, but unfortunately we conceded one just before the half, which will change the halftime team talk.
Yeah, well, you certainly need to tell the players to sharpen up and not concede a last-minute equaliser in the second half. If there's any kind of confusion from the co-commentators at the moment, then that's just because I've brought something up on the screen, which is obviously blocking their view of what's going on here. It's just the manager's instructions for halftime that I'd forgotten to print out, so I'm gonna have to keep them. I'm gonna have to keep my Excel sheet open and have a look when we get to these. But fortunately, none of these guys
We're
have
getting a
any.
look behind the curtain at the inner workings of the chairman's mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you can see the full thing here, so this is basically just showing a tracker of which squads I've updated and who's got halftime. I won't show you all of it. I spent too much time and effort on this, and I understand. It doesn't matter. Excellent, guys. Well, we'll see in the second half. So no halftime changes for either side. Shuaibu doing a 7 so far, doing a half decent job down the right hand side. Coco as well getting an 8. So it is kind of working down the flanks. It's just a shame that Sylvester has not been able to keep up with things really.
A
Perhaps
little
resting.
short of match fitness.
Yeah, and resting the big boys. But we'll see in the second half. I'll kick that off and we'll see how it goes. A lot of white at the beginning. A lot of hooligans actions again and a couple of con saves.
Schweiber got involved there. Oh, Sylvester. Very nice. Very nice. Always like it when a centre back gets up and gets a goal. I think he's coming from Maldini as well, repaying your faith in him.
Yeah. He's a top player in the game and starts out with really high stats at Man U. But yeah, kind of having Maldini and Thuram, it's tough to get him in the team.
Yeah, but it certainly seems as if he's trying to prove his worth to the side. Let's not forget Desailly, the central defender for Hooligans, got a goal last week, so I could be on the cards again. But let's see, just a couple of minutes left.
Well done, Kieran.
Well done, Kieran. Held out for the win there. Yeah, let's see the stats. Yeah, Coco, as you said, hopefully he can come in and do a job. He put in a man of the match performance down that left hand side. So maybe we'll see this tactic again or something similar that utilizes the wing players.
Yeah, definitely. Just worked out well today. Again, he plays super narrow, so we were hoping for some joy down the flanks. So yeah, really impressed with that, and our strong away form continues.
Your away form is rather ridiculous compared to the rest of the league, and obviously Barry Ferguson with another assist there in the second half, and Van Nistelrooy actually getting one as well. Barry Ferguson, I'm not going to ask how important he is to your team because we all know what happened while he was injured, what the results were like during that short phase. So let's fingers crossed for you guys that you keep him fit for the rest of the season. Ryan, what do you make of Hooligans' performance there? Ronaldo again disappointing. That's been kind of the story of the season. I mean, 4 goals in 14 for Ronaldo. That's not acceptable, is it?
No, and he's kept faith with him time and time again. I think I'd struggle to drop him really, especially as his countryman. I think the one that stands out to me, Brett Emerton, yellow card and a 5. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a poor one.
He's had a really poor game. Yeah, he's going to be disappointed at any home loss, but especially one where he's got a few. I mean, he's not like he's got his B team out. He's got like his relatively first strength defence out. He created a few chances. His strikers haven't taken them, and then he's
Yeah, he's gone and lost it. So not a good night. Not a good night for Hooligans. And although I was gonna say there was probably more white than there was sort of the dark blue color on the actual flashing screen, it didn't turn into chances. So
yeah, I was shocked then when you put the stats up on because I thought especially the second half, I thought Hooligans had better of it.
I thought it'd be more 50-50 overall, wouldn't you? But yeah, that's
I'd have to agree. I didn't think it was anything like the stats are showing there. Very generous towards our team.
Yeah, and just a quick one from the comments. I had a heart attack over it last week, and Ian's just pointed it out here. That's what happens when you set up first of all when you have a good goalkeeper, and second of all when you have your instructions in a suitable way, whether it's dumb luck or whether it's a deliberate. Kieran, I don't know, but 16 passes, 16 completed from your goalkeeper. That's how it should look. Yeah, you don't want your keeper to throw away the ball. So
exactly. No, we'll keep the player instructions between us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look at the other side. 21 passes, 5 completed. I mean, I know it's not the be all and end all, but it's something that would annoy me. But anyway, congratulations on the win, and we'll move on to our next game, which is Midlothian at home, I think, to Ardsley. Let's have a quick look here.
Yeah. Oliver Kahn sets up with long shots then, Kieran. Or...
We'll see.
Right. So one question for
either Hodgie.
one question for either of you, whoever wants to pick it up. This back guy that Ian's been raving about. What do you make of him? Is he going to be a Super League legend, or is it just I don't know? Will he never live up to his stats?
I quite like look. I'll be honest, I don't know him outside the league. I've never signed him. On this game, as I think we spoke in private chat the other night, Martin, you mean the game, every time you start a new game, it throws up some legends which you've never heard of before. This looks, on his stats, this guy looks like he might have a few randoms in there, which they've all come out good this time. So, yeah, he looks good. He looks like he could do a job. I'm very amazed at how cheap he was, but yeah, he's got all the. I mean, he's got determination, 13 off the ball, 15, acceleration up at 19. He looks like a complete player, especially with the 20-20-20-20 on the right hand side there.
very strong looking, but yeah, but we'll
Captain as well. The captain there.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
funny.
he put him as captain as well. So that's all very very promising. I think he's hoping for great things from him. Kieran, what do you make of Ardsley's season so far? Very inconsistent, you mentioned earlier.
Very just before I go into it, I see he's actually finally dropped Neil Scally, which will be of interest to you yourself, Martin. He's brought Ramelow back in.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but Neil Scally is shocking in the game. I have no idea why he's getting. I have no idea why people buy him or play him or anything.
I've just signed him
There's
at 36 years old in my alphabet save for Bournemouth, who I am at the minute, and he came in close to the top of the league. So I'd have to respectfully disagree with you there.
fair enough, fair enough. But that's age 36. That's not age bloody 23 with like half of his stats under 10. I mean, it's good
Look at
work,
that right hand
Raven.
side, though.
Yeah. Good right hand side. I know Boise and everyone else loves that, but and good determination and good passing and positioning. But yeah. His stats do develop crazily in the game. I have seen it, but at the moment you can't justify playing him. But either way, fair point. Fair point on Midlothian. With regards to Ardsley, too inconsistent.
Too
Yes.
inconsistent, but sorry, Ryan. But when they're good, they're so good. They find it very easy to get the ball in the back of the net, and he seems to really have the instructions geared towards Morientes and Tristan right now, who are two top players right at the start of the game. So again, a really well balanced team with Candle on the left, Zeri on the right, and Levski in the middle. You look at their team and they're kind of brilliant all across the park. So yeah, I'm not surprised when they come out with big results. It's when they kind of flatter to deceive that's more surprising for me.
Yeah, surprised that he's insisting on continuing the Joe Cole experiment because that's not really working that well so far. That's perhaps the
Yeah,
only thing.
I think he's been struggling at AMC. I think Raquelme has not been the best either, which is surprising to me because they're both fantastic players. Maybe Joe Cole season 2 or 3, but yeah, I think from speaking to him, that's where he's really most disappointed.
Hmm.
What I would point out, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the transfer business he did in the mid-season window. I think Nicky Butt's a solid DMC, and he's let him go for is it for Okawankwo?
Hmm.
Um, I think I'm not happy with that business really. I mean, Martin Lewison's 10 times the player Okawankwo is. I think Nicky Butt's better than Milevski. That's my hot
Oh,
take.
I'd have to disagree with you there. Milevski's top class.
I mean, he's got Patrick Vieira. He's the only player that should be playing
Nobody
DMC.
is.
I was going to say, yeah, I was going to say either, regardless of whether Milevski or Bot or whoever he has Patrick Vieira, and he should be playing that role. Although they both did really well last time out, but I think the main talking point for this side has got to be the 20-goal striker partnership there of Morientes and Diego Tristan. If they are to be stopped, then the rest of the side might not have so much. But if you don't stop them, then you're in for a long night, aren't you?
Definitely. Morientes with the hat trick last time out. Tristan's been solid all season. Yeah, if them two start firing, one of them gets a goal in the first half, then ours are favourites because they don't stop scoring once they started. I think
Mhm.
are they one of the top scorers and conceders in the league? Is that right? I don't know.
Yeah, I think 32. So they're definitely the top scorers, I think, and 30 conceded. So there's a couple of teams down the bottom that have conceded more, but 30 is definitely a lot of goals to concede. But they are the top scorers, yeah, and 20 goals between them, those two.
Yeah, they're a solid partnership. Yeah, and he seems to have got them playing. It's just yeah, as we've mentioned, he blows hot and cold, so it depends on which odds they turn up tonight, whether they'll get the points. I think
Yeah.
if you looked at it on paper, I think you'd on paper, especially we talked about how strong Ardsley were pre-season. On paper, you've got to put them as favourites, but it's not played on paper, is it? And it's yeah,
Mhm.
it might be the tactics of Midlothian might have the best of him tonight.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly see. Kieran, these two teams are kind of struggling to get into the top half. If Midlothian lose this, considering that they have played so many, I think that this will be 9. I think they'll only have 4 home games left after this, and their away form has not been great. Can they afford? Is it now or never for Midlothian? I know we already said that BTEC and all these theoretically could come back, etc., etc. But with only 4 home games left after this one, he's got to win this one, hasn't he?
No, I don't think so. I think he just doesn't. He can't lose it. He can't let Ardsley get further ahead and kind of make that path to the top 6 bigger. But I think if he comes out with a draw today, I don't think he's out of it by any means. He's got Mpenza and Kesman up top, and if he can get a tune out of them, he can get as many goals as Ardsley are getting at the minute. So no, I wouldn't rule him out.
And if back turns up, then we'll see.
Yeah, you like back probably more than I do right now. You're kind of giving him quite the legend status, but we'll see if he does it on the pitch.
We will. Quick predictions, Ryan.
Score draw for me.
Score draw for you and Ryan.
Oh, I think Midlothian will just about take it.
They'll edge it. Okay, well, let's kick it off and see what happens in this one. Not a lot in the first 10 minutes, but I have seen Back's name flash up a couple of times, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see do well. I mean, it'll be there's Diego Tristan. That's going to be a problem now, I think, for Midlothian.
They started off so strong, but yeah, they've really kind of tailed out quite a bit. And yeah, like you say, their away form has been pitiful all season, apart from getting a draw against us last week.
Yeah, true. And the Midlothian home form, as Swindon points out, yeah, I mean, it might have been good, but it's not been that great tonight.
I think even Midlothian are forgetting their home form tonight.
Yeah, I think I kind of, maybe it's me, but I feel like he had a different. I should remember this because I said it every week, but there's so many, so I kind of lose track. He had a different tactic earlier on this season that he kind of stuck to, and that seemed to have worked. Was it similar to this one? Maybe
he had the similar to Palmer. He had the wall of 5 DM across the defensive midfield. He had Eric Addo at left wing back.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Gerard at right wing back. That was my memory of the Midlothian tactic anyway from when I set my team up. So he seems to have gone the 4 at the back to kind of shore things up. Steven Gerrard at right back. What is he doing? But yeah, I think if he put Carlos at left wing back and Gerrard at right wing back and played the 2-5-1-2, I think that's fantastic. It's the 4-3-1-2. I think it's just a bit too defensive, especially at home.
And these, like the length of these arrows.
It's a lot of running to do.
I'm not a fan, but you know it could work out, I guess. Arsenal have not played too well, to be honest. I didn't click on the match stats because I thought it was fairly kind of boring and even. They've not been playing too well either, but Diego Tristan's had 2 shots and scored on one of them, so they got to be fairly pleased. Arsenal, I mean, not conceding goals, and that's not normally their cup of tea or their game, so they'll be happy enough with the first half, I guess. Kieran, what do you think?
Yeah, he'll be delighted. 1-0 away from home. They're looking pretty solid. Yeah, maybe dropping Martin Lawson out of the team and bringing in Okoronkwo is the right move. He mentioned in the comments, did Haji, he said, have you seen Larson's form? Yeah, 6.67. Cool. So maybe he's just like, right, I'm sick of him. Let's get the young Nigerian boy in there and let's see how that goes. And or Australian boy, should I say. And yeah, let's see how that goes.
Yeah.
And it seems
he's
to be
got
working
that versatility.
So far.
He's got that versatility, and as we mentioned before, I think maybe in the last show, he's got that either foot thing, and some people do think that seems to make a difference. But we'll see how much of a difference that makes in the second half.
I'm more than happy to eat my own words on that. Yeah, it's again, may have got this one wrong.
We'll see how it pans out in the second half if Okoronkwo can live up to expectations or if he turns out to be a bit of a dud. But we'll see what Midlothian can create in the second half if they need more time to settle back into the side or if he can start producing already, which is I think what Ian would be hoping for this one. But it is a strong team. I mean, Ardsley is a very, very strong team. They just, as Kieran mentioned, it's when they play badly, it's a surprise. They should be winning a lot more of their games, really.
they look strong now. The second half, they've not given Midlothian a chance really so far.
Mm-hmm. Apart from
As soon as I said that.
and as soon as it was given, it was ruled out again for offside. We had a couple of them last week as well, so that seems to. Oh, and there he is. Could that be
I knew it was going to
Could that be
happen.
the turning point? I mean, Arsenal are still in it. No.
Oh, maybe back is the future. I think they've stole a point there. I think maybe they've stole a point there, but yeah, or maybe not from the stats, but yeah, to me it looked like it was only going to go one way, and that was for more goals for Ardsley. But I think, Ian will be delighted to get the point there, especially after being behind.
Yeah, definitely. And he's starting to repay his manager's faith in him, giving him the captain's armband and everything. It seemed like it was a goal out of nowhere as well. It was unassisted. Kenny Saris did well to get the fingertips. Oh yeah, it's picking up a rebound from Kenny Saris there. So yeah, it's a vital point that he's earned his manager there, Mr. Back, who's I'm not gonna even try to do any puns or anything like that. Kieran, what did you make of the comeback?
Yeah, really strong. Kind of like Ryan was saying, it looked like Ardsley were kind of kick on in the first half of the second half. But yeah, Midlothian came back. They had a goal disallowed from Kesman. Their stats were pretty good, and like a fairly consistent performance. Nothing below a 7. A couple of 8s thrown in there. So yeah, they'd be annoyed if they didn't get a draw out of this game, especially at home with that kind of performance. So yeah, I think they were well worth the draw.
Yeah, and Carsten Ramelov coming in and getting an 8 on that DMC role there. I mean, if you look at his stats, I mean, I'm not going to slack off Scally even more, but look at the stats of this guy. I mean, I know they're not 20s, but he's not a bad player, and he's got 5 assists and a goal in 13 games. It's not, you can't play Scally in front of him, can you really? So I'm happy for Ian that he chose Ramelov and that he got the point for that. And I think it's nice to be rewarded to pick someone out from outside of the league to get in. I mean, I'd like to see the superstars doing really well, but I would also like to see like the young guy Shuaibu, to see these kind of people that pick from outside of the league come in and kind of do a job as well. I think that kind of just adds a little bit to the fun, I think, from a personal perspective.
Definitely nice to get a hidden gem and get them in the limelight.
And the top 6 teams will be delighted. I mean, Hooligans are the big winners here, aren't they? Really, with none of these teams really gaining any serious ground on them after Hooligans, who were 6th before the start of tonight's action, they lost, didn't they? So they'll be delighted with this.
Well, I think the ones who are, I think Kieran, who's on the line with us, he'll be over the moon. He's got the win now, and that's. I mean, it's drawn the gap. If I can get a win tonight, I know Andreas is watching in the comments. I mean, if us 3 manage to pick up the points and the teams below us drop off, then it'll start to create a bit of a gap, which will be fantastic. Mm-hmm. Hey, but I'm not counting my chickens. It's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be a tough one, definitely. Next up, we've got the birthday boy, Mr. Marshall. He is at home.
Happy birthday, Rob.
Yeah, happy birthday, Rob.
Happy birthday, Rob.
What? Why? Oh, he's on the bench probably. I hope he's on the bench. Either way, and we've got Joe Panathinaikos lining up against the Sloths. For Sloths, things look like they were improving, Ryan. But is the season is over for the Sloths?
Yeah, the gap's too much. I say the season's over. He's got the rest of the season to kind of build on his tactics and get his team settled and maybe start looking at some transfers for the end of the season to make sure he's got a lineup, because he should have, with those strikers, he should have a competitive team. And he bar a few games, he's really flattered to deceive so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with the lineup as such. I mean, could you make the case that he's actually managed to make the team? I know that I don't want to be like so cruel as the chairman here and and suggest that someone's doing something wrong. But could you make the case that he's actually weakened the team a little bit over the course of the first sort of 6 months or so in charge?
I don't think so. I think he started out poorly enough, but then managed to find a winning formula, and it actually looked quite good. I think I said in the halftime blog that I kind of backed them for maybe sneaking into sixth. Obviously, it hasn't gone that well since, but I know I wouldn't say he's made them weak. The center of their pitch is not that strong. I know those wingers is something that you tried earlier on this season, Ryan. I think with Figo and Raul, and
Yes.
it's a tough one. You rarely see it. I've never personally got it to work, but maybe he'll be able to get it work today with the kind of firepower of Vieri and Crespo up front.
Yeah, I think you occasionally get it in your own saves. You occasionally get one of like a smaller team or something like that plays that 4-2-4 with the two central midfielders and these four up front, and it can cause problem for sort of like your standard not your standard AI formations, but certainly some of the tactics I've normally employed. This one can cause problems for me, so I kind of see where both Ryan went with it and where Rob's trying to go with it. Ryan, what was your experience of playing with the two sort of, what are they called again, AMLs and AMRs are they? Well, probably.
Yeah, well, employing at home is something I do quite a lot. Generally with one striker. Obviously I play with one striker anyway, but yeah, it's definitely worked for me. It never worked in the Super League. I think I tried it 3 times. The only game I won was against Sloths. That was the first game of the season. So it was kind of something I shelved, which may return at some point, but I'm pretty happy with my tactics at the minute.
Pretty happy with how it's going at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Rivaldo. I know he got a bit of flack pre-season, but I think he's a solid option at AMC. I mean, that's where I'd be playing him.
And when it comes to Panathinaikos, talk us
What
through
the hell is this?
I've been excited to see this one.
It's very, very. I thought this is ridiculous. This is the most attacking formation that anyone has put out this season. Turns out it's not. Who's put out a more attacking formation than this?
Kieran, surely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Kieran, what do you make of this compared to your own? I think it went quite well for you. Your super attacking formation, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I think it was another one of those 1-0 away wins. I think it was against Alf. I think I tried it. I tried to it was in the middle of one of his excellent runs, and we just said we'd go for it at his place and see if we could get something, and it worked out for us. I really like the look of it. A lot of quality players in there. Trezeguet, Sand, Vasiliuk up front, Nicky Ferenko, we all know, and how do you pronounce it? Harasimovic. Little unknown quantity for me. I've never had him. I don't think I've ever looked at his stats now, to be perfectly honest. But if he can get a tune out of him, even the DMC kind of trio, Ryan, your favorite, Nicky Butts in there, Patrick Poo, and Ambrosini, and yeah, the back two are pretty strong. So I like it.
Yeah, good old Marvin Andrews in the centre of defence as well. So what can possibly go wrong with strength and experience like that? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, there are halftime instructions, which I will have to pull up in a second. So I'll try not to block out the the entire screen. But predictions. Sorry.
Is there any injuries to the two substitutes, the Pavel Nedved and Hassan Salamahamovic, whatever he's called? For me, they're Parma's 2 best players, and they're both on his bench, which is surprising to me. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But
Nedved, I think has been one of his top performers. I think Andreas pointed out when he was on a couple of weeks ago, he had scored 5 goals at that stage, and for a kind of attacking midfielder, that's pretty good.
Yeah, there's no injury worries as far as I'm concerned with the side here tonight. So it's purely manager's decision.
Rotation.
Rotation maybe, trying to keep everyone fit. Yeah, there's a 2-week break coming up now, so I'm not sure what that would do, but either way, predictions, guys, if we can have them.
I'll go for a very close, but a slight Somerset win.
Slight Somerset win.
And I'll say 2-1 to Palmer.
And you'll say 2-1 to Palmer. I'm just quickly checking here if there's any halftime instructions. Doesn't seem to be. I think they're for injuries. Either way, well prepared as always. I knew that was something I should have done. We'll kick this one off and we'll see what the first half will bring.
I don't think it's going to be 7-2, Fifey. I know you're trying to butter Palmer up to get back in his good books, but I don't think that's going to work.
I mean, there's been plenty of chances so far for both sides, but no goals after the first 20 minutes. Hoping to jinx that there. Nope, still no goals. But a very open game.
Of it. What did you make of there's a goal for Michael Ballack. So Rob will be happy. A birthday goal for Rob.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's big. He hasn't done too much this season that I can remember. So if he can get a few goals out of him, he'll be delighted.
He's had a terrible average, but that's actually his 5th of the season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There was a long time where Sloths hadn't scored a goal from open play, let alone many of the players. So
I think it was the first 8 or 9 games. And here we go again with Rivaldo. Yeah. Wow. So the kind of narrow block in the defense there is not really doing the job for Panathinaikos.
That's a hammering so far.
Yeah, but Sloths have they've been ahead before and lost, so maybe don't count our chickens before they hatch in this case. But a strong performance from the Sloth side. Kieran, what do you make of that? I mean, apart from Giovanni van Bronckhorst, who was man of the match last week, there's some pretty solid performances in there.
Yeah, look, I was kind of a little critical of it going into the game, but I've been proved completely wrong. This tactic is working brilliantly. Balak's playing a 9. You've got Patasoglu playing a 9. Rivaldo coming in off the left, really involved in the action. 3 key passes, getting in shots, a goal and an assist. So yeah, it's working brilliant. Crespo chipping in with an assist as well. So yeah, he's all over Palmer at the minute.
The only thing I'd look at there is how few touches his strikers have had. 4 and 5 touches. They've 4 and 5 passes.
Yeah,
I think
his
best players needs to get them in the game.
I think they're being swamped. I mean, they're effectively if you've got Rivaldo out here and whoever it is on the other side out here, and then
Kaka.
Yeah, he's basically the 2 strikers are basically up against. If these are on zonal marking, then he's basically up against 5. He's got 2 strikers up against 5 defenders, which is probably not going to be great for his strikers, but it's going to leave space open out on the flanks for definitely for Rivaldo, and I think Ballack came with the first goal, so a little bit concerning for Panathinaikos. I think Parma's really done spectacularly well with some of the more interesting tactics. This one has perhaps not worked so well against Sloss in the first half, but we'll see in the second half. Anyway, back into this for Parma, do you think, barring or is it going to have to be a miracle or something like that?
Needs an early goal in the second half, I think.
Yeah, needs a big change of fortune. It's one of these. If you're playing it yourself at home, you change your tactics at this point. But we can't do that, so I think it's night.
I think similar to Fifey's game last week, he needs to kind of get on the scoreboard early and hope to kind of carry that momentum for all the way through if he's going to get a result in this one.
It is Wayne Oldham who's the referee, though, so we could see a red card perhaps as well. That could obviously influence things. But let's kick the second half off and see what if Parma can find a way back, or if
there
we
are.
Oh,
there
wow.
It is.
That's the early goal we were talking about. Harasimovic, the young Polish. Oh, but here's Ballack now. Oh,
and there's your red card.
There's my red card. All right, let's see. I do have instructions for this. Right, just a second, guys. only the most professional broadcasting here as usual. Let's see. If we get a sending off and we are losing, take Andrews off. 1, 3, 2, 3.
He's going 1 at the back, lads.
Right, why would I take him off again?
He's going Cannavaro centre back on his own, and then Andrews up there. Andrews moving at 1.
Right, let me double check that again.
That's what he says.
It does say take Andrews off, so we'll do that. That'll be for him probably in that position, I think. Yeah. Or Eddie Pope even.
Sally Hamadic, I think.
I want to try this one. It can't get much worse, can it? So let's see. I probably shouldn't have said that, but I've had mixed fortunes with my substitutions in these situations over the course of the season. But there was almost a goal for Sloth. Or there was a goal, but it was ruled out for offside.
What do you guys make of the Kaká transfer? Is he someone that you've had another goal there for Crespo? But has any of you got any joy with him?
Or two.
All the goals are going in. What's going on?
They're flying in. We're trying to watch a game here, Ryan.
Don't be asking us about Kaka.
Why are we talking about Kaká again? Oh, Slosser bought him. That's right.
Sloss bought him. He got him in the team. Has Kaká made the difference? Do we think? Has he?
Not today. He
No,
hasn't.
okay.
No. No, it was the old
four
guy.
goals. He wasn't involved with any.
3 guys getting a 10. What? That's unusual, isn't it? I mean, 1, sure, 2, I'd be happy. 3 guys getting 10s. Maybe I'm just bad at the game, but that's not often I see that.
That's fantastic. Well done, Rob.
Yeah, that's
Great
a great result for the birthday boy there today.
That's a big birthday present, and Crespo dominant in the air in the second half as well. There, 10 headers in total. Only won 4 of them, but he's definitely been in there. Plenty of shots on target for Ballack as well. That's maybe his role. Maybe that's his position. I mean, if he plays like that, that's rivaling anything we've seen from Lee Boyer and from Barry Ferguson. If he continues to play like that in that position.
Yeah, 2 goals, he'll take that all day, and to come in with a really dominant and winning performance like that, yeah, why wouldn't they stick with this tactic and stick with Ballack in the middle of the pitch?
Mm-hmm. Quick word on Panathinaikos. Of course, it's always a bit of a gamble when you try out a new tactic. Did come into it a little bit in the second half. Was unlucky perhaps with the red card. We'll see something different next week from Parma, won't we, Ryan?
Yeah, he'll switch it about. He likes trying something different. Yeah, he'll have been very, very frustrated with not getting anything on Sunday because he was the best team, in my opinion, from start to finish, and to come out without anything, he would have been gutted. For me, then, considering that performance, he should have stuck with his team. I think he listened to maybe too many people saying that he didn't score because he had no strikers on, but I thought the performance was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's maybe second guessed himself, and it's not worked out. But yeah, you can't take anything away from Somerset, who they've put in a solid home performance and got the points.
Yeah, but performance of the season for Sloss, according to Rob. So he seems delighted with that, and a birthday present for him, obviously, a good result there. And we'll have a look at how all this impacts the league table at the end of the show. But we'll move on to our next game of the evening, which is see if we've got the Swindon Devils up against the Bolton Phoenix. So Ryan, that's you. I'll start by asking Kieran. We'll do the opposition first. Kieran, can the Devils avoid the wooden spoon? And who would take their place? Obviously now Sloss are winning. That's going to make it more difficult for them.
Yeah, I'd love to say that it wouldn't be them, but I really do think it will be. I think Dragon Destroyers are getting results. B-Tech have a top team, so I think they'll pick up enough results, and kind of Rob getting that win today kind of sends them a further 3 points clear, and with Devils coming up against the form side in the league, yeah, no, I can't see anything but him coming last place, unfortunately.
And tonight he's without Montero and is it Sir Roberto he's got as well. Both are out. I think one's injured and the other one's suspended. So we see Emre coming in and Taribo West, who we haven't seen so much of this season. Is he good, or is he good because he's free? Do you sign him because he's free, or do you sign him because he's actually genuinely good?
I think he's fairly top class, kind of wherever you put him. He's perfectly good at the start of the game, and I think he's good enough at this level to be a success. I see he's got Danny Mills in there, who we haven't seen all season.
Yeah, that's true. Danny Mills, Ian Hart, or Elmander.
And that was after Ugo Ehiog getting, I think it was a 7, and he came off the bench last week in DMC, if I'm remembering correctly. I might be wrong.
Yeah, but Danny Mills might do a job. You never know.
Very true. But he's got Elmander up top, who can do a job on his day, and Inzaghi and Kluivert are two excellent strikers.
Good strikers.
So
That's Simone and Inzaghi. That's not.
Yeah, but still, Still.
Still a great player, and he's doing the job in the management for Lazio at the minute. So I have nothing but time for him at the moment.
I do believe I may have asked for Ehiok to start. That's entirely possible.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he might very well have. It's kind of too late now to kind of swap it, but I can. Who did I put in?
Fifey, would you like him to make the substitution at minute 0, or would you like to stick with what you got at the back and in case there's an injury or what have you?
I'm happy to change it, but it will cost you a substitution, obviously.
Mendes stays in.
Okay, Mendes man of the match. So apologies for that. I don't know if I'd looked at the wrong picture because I picked up the other changes, obviously. I normally go through them. Okay, my bad. I gotta take that one on me. So apologies for that. Hopefully Mendes will do a good job.
He'll win the game for him now, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
No.
We'll see. Moving on to Bolton Phoenix. Title contenders, as mentioned in the media. Are you title contenders, Ryan?
I don't think so. I think we've got a good solid team. We're playing well at the minute. We're not. I don't think we're up there with Fallon or even Churchtown. So we might be playing well at the minute. That would definitely come to an end at some point. Hopefully not tonight. But I'm happy to keep going, keep picking up the points, and I'm grateful to be mentioned. But I'm not too sure about
that. But you've definitely lost patience with Raul, it would seem.
Finally, yeah. Honestly, he's one of my favourite players on the game. I try and get him in every save. I'm up there. I'm up there with a big team. I think he's quality for it, but what's his average? You know, it's like 7.01 or something like that.
7, bang on 7.
Yeah, 1 goal in 14 games, 1 assist. He's just not been performing at all. And I felt a bit harsh last game. I thought I've got to start Montella, big money signing. So I dropped Henry to the bench after we'd scored 3 on the bounce. I thought, you know what, let's bang Henry back in. Maybe not his most natural position, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, sometimes it can work. We're just showing there he'd gone 8-8, 10-8, I think, and with a goal in each of those 3 or 4 games at least. So maybe he was maybe he could have stayed on. But I know you like the one striker formation, and as you mentioned, Montella's obviously a big signing, big name signing. He's got to come in, and he has done. I mean, he obviously scored in his first game. Steven says he's very worried about a hammering. What do you mean? You've got Mendes in defense. How can you get hammered? Contiomis is the referee. He is strict, so we'll see if that has any kind of influence on the outcome of the game. Kieran, your prediction for this one?
Phoenix for me, I think.
Phoenix for you, and Ryan, Phoenix for you, I presume.
Well, I'm commentating, so I'm going to go Swindon, and hopefully I'm wrong.
Right, we'll kick this one off, and we'll see if you're right about your prediction, or if the commentators reverse curse will strike you. But a decent start for you, I think. A yellow card for the opposition. You're putting them under pressure, so that was early.
14 minutes, he's got a red.
Yeah, there are no red card instructions, so I think I'm just gonna have to.
Get gone.
But no, there's no red card instructions, so I'm gonna leave it as is. Don't think that's gonna help Swindon's chances. I was actually gonna mention Mark Vivian Foe because he's gotten 2 8s in his first 2, and there's Montella. He's gotten 2 8s in his first 2 games after being dropped by BTEC or sold by BTEC, who are now playing what's his name, Vogel, who we looked at before, who was kind of poor in that position. Ryan, you're feeling confident?
Yeah, I'm feeling confident at the minute. Yeah, it's I think it's all going one way. I'm over the moon for Montella getting a goal. Dede, who's been kind of gone under the radar all season, but I've been absolutely solid. So yeah, over the moon with that first half performance.
Let's have a quick look at the red card. Mark Vivian Foe stuck out his leg to bring down Viron, got a yellow for that. Alex was knocked to the floor. Right, okay, so that's a second yellow, and that was him off. So perhaps a little bit harsh, maybe for just committing 2 early fouls, and he got sent off. But it's obviously impacted the game quite severely. I mean, not so much in terms of chances, but it doesn't look as if Devils have had much to offer, does it?
very soft yellow, so I think he can find himself. Yeah, I thought we just actually said very soft yellow, so he can find himself maybe a little hard done by there. But he is a strict referee. I know we don't know that before the game, so it's. But yeah.
Yeah, they're literally only assigned as soon as the game is loaded up, so I can't include that information in the. I can't divulge that information earlier on, so you're just gonna have to live with what you're given. But it seems to have worked out okay for you so far. 7s and 8s.
So far, so good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Kieran, Swindon. I mean, it seems it's. I mean, Mendes and West. You can't really fault them. They've both got 7s. It's a difficult situation, isn't it, to be up against the form team of the league.
Yeah, they're trying their best with them down to 10 men, but probably the less said, the better.
Probably, and we'll kick off the second half, and we'll see how it goes if Bolton are able to add to their tally, if Montella's getting more goals, or if Swindon can maybe get a consolation goal. It would be probably nice for.
There we go.
Well. And now I'm allowed to do whatever I want because that's the I guess that's the change in your instruction. Well, that's what I'm going to do anyway.
Henry.
I'd be doing Alex off for Radoy personally.
Yeah. You have. I'm sure you both have many good suggestions. I am going to take Verong off because he's already on a yellow, and we do have a very strict referee, and he's not necessary. And he's strictly not. He's strictly not needed. There you go. No. Don't you worry. This is going to see you through to the end of the game. Don't worry about that. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but it's probably going to see you through to the end of the game.
Oh my God! What are you doing to me?
This is the standard formation that I play in my home save at the moment, and this is what I do when I get a red card. You've still got 2 central defenders, you've got a defensive midfielders, and you've got that, and you've got 2 players that can play
out of position. And
yeah.
I've got 2 players playing out of position.
They're not.
Midfielder off.
They're not. You start with Verong and Alex out of position. I'm not sure if this has made it any worse. Look, you've got Montella. What's there to worry about?
Oh.
He was never worried, Ryan. He was never worried.
Well,
Jesus Christ! I hadn't got the goal.
Come on, what?
Dead day with a fucking brace. What is going on?
2 goals for Montella, 2 goals for Dede.
You really did.
No. It was tried and tested in home saves, to be fair, but tried and tested. I don't think they did that badly, did they?
Swindon did. Bolton did all right. Yeah, they got the win.
Yeah.
Gary Neville again, fantastic. After a 7 last time, Zambrata's come back and got a 9. Still one of the top players in the league. Montella, absolutely class. Yeah, over the moon with that. Yeah, I don't know what my assistant manager was doing after the red card, but I'm happy with the result of it all.
Well, you could have had a second red to Verong, you know what I mean? So you gotta play the numbers games. So what happened actually? Verong upended Emery. Elmander was pushed by Brown. Oh, that's a harsh one there. It was all a little bit.
I sold you a dud, Ryan.
Pardon, Kieran?
I sold you a dud.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think I sold you a dud as well, didn't I? So we're doing all right.
Fair.
See all this player swapping for no reason.
Well, Martin, surely you must understand why I had to get rid of Igor Tudor. Every player in my club hated him. So,
yeah, I think there's a lot of players that we'll see leaving various clubs here for reasons that maybe are not entirely clear. But I think Fabian Barthez is leaving. Rio Ferdinand left. I think Baronio or someone was was one of these people that upset everyone. You know what it's like. One player, they get like 3 or 4 offers for them, or their agent wants to move or something like that, and then it just goes all a little bit down here. Yeah, Mendes got a 6. That's what killed his 5. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Danny Mills with an 8. Get him in more regularly, Fifey.
He could do it. Well, he can't. Yeah, I mean, Zidane normally plays there, but I guess if you've got to make the choice between Danny Mills and Zinedine Zidane, if it's in a defensive position, then you would probably.
In my admittedly limited experience in the Super League, Zidane's been complete wank in the Super League and hasn't cut it for any club he's been at.
Yeah, I mean he's yet to set the world alight with his performances. That's true. And he's not included here. I can't remember if he's injured or not, but he could have played instead of Elmander. I mean, in real life, you would probably pick Zidane over Elmander, but that's what it is. It is what it is. Bolton,
Johan
Phoenix.
Elmander, an ex-Bolton Wanderer, good player. He's
Yeah,
he left on a free, which we never really forgave him for, but he was a solid player.
solid player
What is
for
this
you.
comment? What is this comment?
Yeah, and we've been invaded. Very good. Good result there. If we're going to stick to the 90 minutes as agreed, then we do have to move on to the last game of the evening, which is going to be Astor against Ballon United. Both teams ended a long run last week. Will things return to normal, Ryan? Astor finally got a win after not winning for ages. How do you rate their chances away tonight?
I'm kind of torn in between what I want to happen tonight, because a Valen win means that they kind of maintain their gap ahead of me and Kieran, but it also means that the kind of the chasing pack fall further behind, which kind of secures our position in the top three really. So I would expect a solid, easy home win here for Andreas and Valen, and I think that's kind of what I want as well. I know Astor weren't great last week, but came out with a point. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there we are. That's my thoughts anyway.
That's your thoughts on it. And Kieran, the Swedes were they unlucky last week or were they poor against Bolton?
I think both of them were well worth their win last week. Yeah, I don't think they were like overly shafted, but yeah, I think both of them were well worth their win, and yeah, it opened up the top of the league a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And Valen have gone back to a more
I
sort of
think
tried
it's
and
interesting. I think Alf made a comment at the start of the show that he was kind of writing this game and almost this season off, saying, "Oh, he was going to try and see who to cut," which I thought was a quite defeatist attitude from someone who was like owning the league at the start, and he's brought in kind of an experienced player, someone he's had before, in Hakan Mild, into the centre of his midfield, so he knows he can do a job for him. So no, I'd be hopeful of for Alf getting a result in this one, but looks like Valen have gone back to their tried and tested formation.
Yeah, they definitely have. I think Andreas was probably a little bit unhappy with the result last week, so we'll we'll see how that works for him now. I mean, obviously he's struggling a little bit with finding a suitable replacement for Totti in that AMC role, but he's gone with Zaha tonight, so we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, he's got Cafu as well, and Cafu, he almost, got something out of the game last week against me. He was like a man possessed.
Some average, isn't it?
I mean,
he's incredible.
I was going to say with Boyer now out, I mean, he's the player of the league, isn't he, so far? I mean, he's a right back, yeah, and he's got 15 games, 2 goals and 7 assists and 8.27 average. It's kind of unrivaled, apart from Lee Boyer, who's now long term injured. So he'll be happy with that, I guess. With Cafu's performance, and as you mentioned, he nearly turned it around last week. He was the one who got the equalizer there, and then Veron kind of sealed it for you, but definitely
Is this
important play for
a
him.
debut for Daniele Bonera there? I haven't
Uh,
seen his
I
name
think he has
before.
played early on.
he's played a couple of games.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
He's played a couple of games already this season, but yeah, interesting to see how he goes. He's obviously without without Rio Ferdinand now, so that's a bit of a blow. But Roy Keane's still in there. Roy Keane's still doing Roy Keane things. 779, perhaps not been as dominant in recent games, but we'll see how it works out tonight for Valen. Quick predictions, Ryan.
Home win.
Win.
I think Alf's missing Abel Xavier. I think he should really think about making a move for him in the summer. That's what he's missing, in my opinion. But yeah, tonight, home win.
And Kieran, home or away win for you, or even a draw?
I think a sneaky away win here. I think Alf can keep it going and get back into the top 6.
All right. Well, curious. I mean, with the last time you both went in opposite directions, it was a draw. So let's see what happens in this one. We'll kick this one off and see if Valen can get back on track, or if Alf has turned things around for Aston Athletic, who I keep calling Stackington for some reason when I write my notes. But Old habits die hard, I guess. A fairly quiet start. Oh no, it's not. Nakata's already scored, so it wasn't as quiet
Yeah.
as I thought it was.
Valen seemed to have a lot more of it in the opening exchanges.
I mean, it is a strong squad. It's a strong formation. He has had the better of most teams this season, to be honest. So could have had a penalty there as well.
It's a strong spine he's got to the team, kind of thing. He's got well, he's now got Lasisi at the back. He's got Cafu in the defensive midfield. When he's fit, he's got Totti, and then he's got an unbelievable strike force. So, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
perhaps a little bit like hooligans. He's Shevchenko. I mean, great, but 6 goals in 14, now 15 games, and Saviola maybe a little bit more. Maybe they're sharing it between them. Would you have expected Shevchenko to have scored more than 6 at this stage of the season?
I think you don't care if as long as your team's winning and he's getting a good. I understand what you're saying, but he's playing in essence 3 people up there to score the goals, usually with Totti and Shevchenko, and Saviola. So as long as he's winning games and they're getting goals, I don't think he's too concerned about which of the players scores them.
Mm-hmm.
I think his form actually. Andreas, please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think when Shevchenko got injured, did his form not dip a little bit for a couple of games? So Andreas's form hasn't dipped much this season.
Yeah. True. I mean, they are obviously strong players, and I'm not saying anything against that. I would have just thought that if I had Shevchenko, then I would have expected a little bit more of a return. But he's perhaps not the highest scoring team either, Valen. So we'll just put Pinardi on. As you could see, the co-commentators have just been checking the the halftime instructions here, and I think Sonny Anderson gets to stay on, so he's done fairly well. Anyway, Kieran, Astor with only 2 shots, 1 on target in the first half. Anyway, back into this for them.
It's not looking likely, but never say never.
Never say never. And
It's
Ryan,
only one. It's only one.
It's only one. We'll kick off the second half of the last game of the evening, and we'll see if Valen can hold on to this one, or if there's a way back into it for Astor Athletic. They do. Oh, Fiore. Now he's getting the goals from midfield. That's
he's all over him. Yeah.
I was going to say, oh, Saviola picking up a yellow there, but all over him now. Oh my goodness, yellow cards are flying now.
Alf's got to hope for a red card to change the game.
Ooh, that's a big injury.
That's a big injury. What have we got? We've got Sunday, who can go in and play there. That's unlucky to have injuries to his keeper. Why is it not? Oh, there we go. Unlucky to get injuries to his key players. Totti out and now Keane out. I think Totti's on his way back. I think he's only got a couple of days left on his injury, but
yeah.
Keane will be out now, so that'll be some concern for him.
Keane would be more crucial to his success than Totti. He's kind of got enough attacking options without Totti, but Keane at this level is fairly irreplaceable, I would have thought.
I mean, Sunday Olise is certainly not an adequate replacement. Well, I think that's a bit perhaps harsh, but he's no Roy Keane, is he? Olise.
No, you're not in the same league.
Yeah, I mean, different. I was going to say completely went off track there because the game was pretty much over and done by then. Shevchenko got a goal there after me slacking him off for not scoring, so that's par for the course. Valen continues to dominate in the second half. Nothing that Astor really could do about it. Half track has had its day, is Hodge's comment, but we'll see. I know that Thiago will stick to it regardless, but and Alf will possibly as well. Hidetoshi Nakata, man of the match performance, a 10 and an assist. Cafu, fairly quiet and picked up a yellow as well, a little bit unusual, but maybe against this narrow formation, that's how it goes. So that's Valen kind of consolidating, I suppose. Although with you guys winning as well, it doesn't make much of a difference in the standings. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Back to the drawing board for Alf. I guess this wasn't a game where he could expect to pick up points. Ryan, what do you think of that?
I don't think you can go to Valen and expect anything really. You can set your team out and cross your fingers and hope for the best. But he's so good, home and away, and with those players. Yeah, Andreas is going to be happy with the result, but I think I'm more than a little bit concerned about Roy Keane because he will be a huge loss for him.
Yeah, depending on the extent of the injury, obviously we can see the fitness has gone down to 47, so that's at least a couple of weeks. We do have, I think, 14 days coming up now without a game before the next set of fixtures. So, but we can have a look at that when we look at the league table. In case you were wondering, guys, Hoddesdon Hornets beat Laugu United 6-0 earlier on today. A dominant performance.
Ooh.
Luca Toni getting a goal.
Luca Toni getting 2 goals and Neil Clement getting a goal as well. So yeah, it was really for those who follow the Oceanic Cup. Luca Toni has done quite well. He's got the 2 10s and 6 goals in his 2 games, albeit against less than fantastic opposition. I would love to pick out any of these players for you, but I'm clicking as hard as I can, but it seems they're all greys. So a decent result for them. No, they don't have any out in the Solomon Islands. Their training ground needs some investment. So when Luca Toni comes to town, it's curtains really for you. So that's how that goes. Back in the world of the Super League, that brings Valin United up to 33 points with 16 games played. Bolton Churchtown right after them on 30 games. Guys, you got to be happy with that. You've got 7 points down to Astor in 7th now.
Yeah, I'm over the moon with that. It's also the goal difference has gone up, which means I've leapfrogged Kieran, even though he got the win. Yeah, over the moon. It's more the 5 points to 4th now. It's that little bit of a gap, which hopefully we can maintain. 11 games unbeaten. I'm over the moon.
Yeah, that's an impressive run that you're on there at the moment. Hornets, Hooligans lost and moved up a place because Panathinaikos lost by more goals. I guess they've got identical goal differences, so I'm not sure what separates the 2 teams then. Alphabetical order maybe or something, or number of wins. I'm not sure how it works out, but that would have been a bitter one if that was 6 and 7 instead of 5th and 6th at the end of the season. Identical points and identical goal score, and you're still below them somehow in the table.
Just imagine on that final day of the season if Panathinaikos miss out on alphabetical order. That would be incredible.
I don't know if it's alphabetical order. That's me making shit up, but but that would be sad for whoever involved. So it would be. I mean, if that is the case, I mean, Astor and Ardsley, they've got a case for them being A's. So but they're equal on points, 23, still with good chances to come in. Midlothian not out of it yet. Chudley could go up to 7th with a win in the game they've got in hand against the Hoddesdon Hornets. And then we've got
Could they? No way.
Sorry?
Should they'd have to win 12-0, would they, to go above Astor?
Yeah. At least.
Okay.
in
I'm not buying they
theory,
could get 7th.
theory, most likely they'll go up to 9th from 10th, but they'll be on equal points with 7th and 8th with the 23. And at the bottom we've got Swindon who didn't pick up any points tonight, unfortunately, after that kind of a bit of a red cardy bonanza game that they had with Bolton there. Sloths and Dragon Destroyers, I guess they're not out of it. Kieran, what do you make of the table? Anything that kind of stands out to you with regards to
I'm actually
people's chances?
surprised Chudley are so close. Like, if they get a win against Hoddesdon, it's going to be a big challenge. Like, they're only 2 points off the top 6, and considering they really haven't been in a good run of form at the minute, they're still well in it. Ardsley, Ian made the point in the comments there, Ardsley are really creeping up, and if they can kind of bring a little bit of consistency to their game, they've got a class squad, so you wouldn't be surprised at all to see them get over the dotted line.
Yeah, it's good. You make a point about Chudley there, which I think is fair, because whatever has happened in the last 5 games, they have conceded 20 goals. 20 goals. I mean, after 10 games, they've conceded 12. We've now played 15, and they've conceded 32. It's quite remarkable the problems they've had keeping anything that resembles a clean sheet. I mean, conceding 3 goals was good for them, actually, considering what they've gone through recently. So if they can turn that around, they should maybe they would definitely be pushing towards the top of the table. But it is all about turning that round, and like you mentioned before, about putting a kind of a run together. Speaking about runs, games without winning, Midlothian are now 5, Dragons are 4, BTEC just 2. Games without losing, Ryan, you'll be interested in this one. That's 11 now that you've played without losing.
Yeah,
That's
what was the record? Is Firkham Hall something like 26, isn't it? Or am I? Go on,
You'd have to ask someone who's been around longer.
Five, probably knows better than me, but I know he went on a big run. But yeah, obviously, I mean, I'd be happy with 2 or 3. So 11 games without losing, and I think the majority of them is I think it's 8 wins maybe. I think I've drawn against Astor, Sloths, and one other game. I think the rest of them have been wins. So from being second bottom to second top, I'm over the moon.
Yeah, form-wise, it's definitely. I mean, I'd say about Sloss and whether they'd kind of not had such great, but I think that just shows how ridiculously even the whole league is. I mean, Sloths are somehow still down in the bottom. They've the fourth best form in the league, and you're thinking, oh, the fourth best form in the league, that must be pretty good then. And then you look at it, and it's 2 wins, 2 draws, and a defeat. That's not exactly brilliant form, is it? To be completely honest, but it's enough to be the fourth best form side in the Super League. So that's just a credit to the competitiveness of the league. Swindon, who are kind of marooned at the bottom a little bit, they're not even at the bottom of the form table. That's still Ardsley and Chudley.
Yeah,
so
Ardsley, seeing Ardsley at 13th doesn't really make sense. Kind of seeing them 2 points off top 6. Same as Chudley, 4 wins out of the last 5, and they're only really 2 wins and a couple of favourable results away from breaking into the top 6 themselves. So it's really all to play for.
Really all to play for, and we've of course still got about 10 games left or something like that. So yeah, definitely more, or 9, is it?
10 games left. I would say that Panathinaikos is a bit of a false form position there, because he's got 6 points in the last 5 games, and the 4 teams above him in the form table have got less points. So I'm not too sure how the form table is working that one out, but
well, it's something that we just have to live with, to be honest. If you're looking at the home record, Kieran, surprising. I mean, it's not a bad home form, but your away form is really where things. I mean, there's no one anywhere near you. If you had the same home form as you do away, then obviously this will be pretty much all over by now. We'll see if we can turn that around next week. Oh, we'll skip that one because that's Hornets and Chudley. I'm not sure if that'll be played then, but we'll see. I think it depends on what I do later tonight with those games. If we look at you two games just before we finish up here, you've both got home games next. Kieran, starting with you, you're home to Sloths. Do you hope or expect your home form to take a bit of an upwards turn here and get a win there? Sloss did a good job
I'm not
tonight.
really sure. They had a great result, and yeah, I'll have to really give a think about what team and tactics I put out, because yeah, I expect him to stay the same after that result. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. That'll be a really tough game. They're a great side on their day and they can cause trouble to anyone. So yeah, I'll be hoping for a win, but wouldn't be expecting it now.
Mm-hmm. And Ryan, you're at home to Hornets. Tricky one. They've got that 4-1-3-2 that can be difficult to break down.
Yeah, probably one of my most disappointing results of the season was getting beat by Hoddesdon, because I thought we set out that game. I thought we were the better team, but he absolutely hammered us. So yeah, hoping to get a bit of revenge. To have a think about maybe the selection rather than the tactics. I think the tactics are going to be relatively similar. So there's a heads up for you, Craig. But yeah, I fancy myself though. I need to get revenge for that one.
Yeah, and with regards to your red card instructions, do you think you're gonna come up with something?
I need to have a word with my assistant manager. Yeah, I might have to come up with kind of these different instructions for every scenario, because I can't have that happening again, can I?
It didn't sound like it did your blood pressure any favors. Let's put it that way.
Especially when he scored as well. I was like, oh my god! Figo at centre midfield.
You survived. You survived. You got the 3 points. You're second in the table. I think that's all fine. Andreas just asked to see Robbie Keane's injury, and we can all see it here. He's out for 2 weeks with a twisted knee. Fortunately for for Andreas and for everyone else who might have injuries. The set of fixtures are as follows: that we've just played on the 12th, and the next game is on the 26th. So Andreas, he could possibly be back for your game against Panathinaikos. And on that note, thank you, Ryan, and thank you, Kieran, for joining us. We did it in just about 90 minutes, so we did have one game less than, than normal, so I'm not sure how we managed to drag it out. But again, thanks to everyone for listening, for contributing, for playing. It's great fun for me, and I hope you enjoy it too. So thanks very much, guys.
Thank you very much, Martin. Cheers, Kieran.
Thanks, Martin. Thanks, Ryan.
Take care, everyone. Good night.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.